Gracious, the most merciful. Welcome to Lady Khadija radiallahu anha online college. May God be pleased with her. We are working through the chapter on trig double angle formulas. We've covered quite a few, so let's see them in action, inshallah, with a couple of examples where you just have to try to think of all the ones you've learned and try and apply the right one at the right time. So let's begin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. The first question here is to try and simplify cos squared 50 minus sine squared 50. So you've got to think through all your trig identities that you've been learning and try and think of one which is going to help you simplify this. The one that comes to mind should be that cos 2a, the double angle formula for cos 2a is equal to, and there's three variations of this, but the one that's going to help us with this question is cos 2a is equal to cos squared a minus sine squared a. So what that tells you is that if you've got any angle, say 10 degrees or 20 degrees, then cos squared of that angle take away sine squared of that angle is the same thing as cos, just normal cos, of twice that angle. So applying that here, we can say the right-hand side, where you've got just the angle on its own is your 50. So on the left-hand side is all we need to fill in. So if it's 50 on this side, then it's going to be 2 times the 50 on this side. So that would be equal to cos of 2 times 50 is 100, so cos of 100. So that's the answer, that we can simplify all of this as simply the cos of 100. Okay, let's move on to another example where you really have to think. So the question is to simplify 4 sine 70 over sec 70. So as soon as you see a sec or a cosec, you've got to be thinking, what does it really mean? So what we learned before is that sec really means 1 over cos. So let's try and apply that here. So sec 70 is really 1 over cos. So I can replace sec 70 as 1 over cos 70. This is going to look a little bit funny because you've got a fraction over a fraction, but just go with it. So let's take the sec 70 and replace that with 1 over cos 70. And then to deal with a fraction over a fraction, it's better to turn that first fraction line into a divide, just your normal divide. So it's 4 sine 70 divided by, and then you can divide that by, then you can bring the 1 over cos 70 here. So that's what that first fraction line meant. Let me just show you again. So we have 4 sine 70 over divided by 1 over cos 70. So we're just writing that literally as I say it. 4 sine 70 divided by 1 over cos 70. And then when you're dividing by a fraction, you turn the divide into a times and flip the fraction. So that divide can turn into a times. And you flip the fraction, so on the top goes the cos 70 and on the bottom goes the 1. Hopefully you can spot that dividing by 1 doesn't make any difference, so we can get rid of that altogether. So now I've got 4 sine 70 cos 70, and the times can disappear because in algebra we don't really write the times. Okay, good. So now we still need to simplify a bit more, but what you should recognize now is that I've got something that looks a bit like, or should remind you of a little bit, that sine 2a is equal to 2 sine a cos a. So if you think of on the right hand side, you've got your a, then that's your 70, and on the left hand side, it's going to have to be 140, your 2a. So let's write that and see how that compares. So I've got sine 2a is equal to 2 sine a cos a. The sine 70 cos 70 looks definitely like the sine a cos a, but I've got a 2, not a 4. So I probably just want to change that. If I change the 4 to a 2 times 2, the 4 is really 2 times 2, and that can be written in brackets if you want. But so let's just replace the 4 with 2 times 2. So now I've got the 2 matching, so I can put in brackets. I can put brackets here and here, and the times sign again can disappear. So now the 2 sine 70 cos 70, that does match the 2 sine a cos a, so now that can be replaced with sine of 2a. Remember, a is, or if you take a look, a is 70, so 2a would be 140. So I can write that sine of 140 is all I need to replace the 2 sine a cos a, which is all of this. So all of this can be replaced by sine of 140. Get rid of the brackets and just bring the 2 closer. Let me just rewrite the 2. And there's your final answer. Okay, a couple of steps, quite a few steps on that one. So let's just check you didn't miss anything. So the first thing was to recognize that the sec. So sec is written as 1 over cos. So we took the 1 over cos and replaced the sec with the 1 over cos. And then two divide lines is better to write the first one as a normal divide, and that allows us to flip the fraction and write cos 70. From here, you recognize it's similar to the 2 sine a cos a formula. Sine 2a is equal to 2 sine a cos a. Think about the 70 as the a, so that means on the left-hand side you'll have a sine of 140, but that'll only work if you get it exactly as the 2 sine a. Here we've got 4 sine. So we just want to swap the 4 with the 2 times 2. That way we can treat the 2 sine 70 cos 70 as the sine 140 bit. And then that's your final answer. Okay, join me for more tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace be with you and the mercy and blessings of God.